month, end of month 1 of the year, in fact, and we're headed for our first graduation. Now, the purpose of your graduation is to enroll new students. Hey, let's go back to that 1 second. Enroll new students. That's the primary purpose, in fact, of your graduation, is to enroll new students. Some of you are thinking, well, it's to give these existing students their bouts and keep them fat and happy. Well, actually, it's not. The primary purpose of your graduation should be to enroll new students. That's how you keep your school open. Next, you upgrade your existing students. And lastly, you get your existing students to prepay some form of a program. That's the whole idea of graduation. As some of you may notice there's no belt handing out. I'm going to come to that in just a second. But I want you to be focused on this is the outcome. Enroll new students, upgrade existing students, and have some students prepay. The golden rule for success during graduation is that when in front of prospects, period, in fact doesn't even include graduation, at any time, when you're in front of a prospects, you have to ask them for the money. There was a statistic done by a sales organization that quoted an obscene number of sales presentations actually go without anybody at the end of the presentation asking for money. Now what that means is this: you didn't have a sales presentation, it meant that you had a good conversation. You had a good conversation. Let's not kid ourselves. You didn't actually have a sales presentation. And when you're having a graduation, you are having or giving a sales presentation. Now, you're not going to ask them for the money direct out, but what you are going to do is ask them for their participation. You're going to ask them to participate in your basic program. And I've discussed this at great length in several trainings, but I'm going to again recap on this whole graduation ceremony. And you can use the same principles here to apply it to any event that you have where you're in front of large groups of people. I will happily give away 5 or 10 basic memberships for people to commit today to my program. For a very small upfront fee, it could be 10, 20 bucks. My preference is actually to give them away for nothing. And here's why. Statistically, within the first 2 to 4 weeks, we had a 70-80% conversion into our leadership program. No brainer, huh? So we made tens of thousands of dollars at the back end just for giving away a few people a few uniforms and having them participate in class. Incidentally, as a sidebar, if you're going to do any giveaways, I always tended to give away uniforms at the graduations, so the people had their physical uniform with them, and it's kind of like the puppy dog sale. Some of you have had good and bad experiences with that. That was just my personal preference, so I'd let you know. Okay, the graduation preparation. So make sure your students know what they're doing. Make sure your students know what they're doing. If you're following my leadership program, it's a no-brainer. You repeat the same lesson for 8 weeks. There's a reason why you do that, so obviously everybody knows exactly what they're going to do at graduation. The forms in the leadership curriculum, incidentally, can be done to music. So you have your instant graduation that can be played to any 8-beat count of music that they can do synchronized. Very simple. Make sure the parents know where and when they need to be. This is another biggest mistake most people make. They assume the parents know what's going to happen. Remember, some of the other parents, i.e. the fathers or the mothers who don't bring their child regularly to martial arts training, don't know where you are, and even worse still, you could have a change of location for graduation because it could be a larger event, and therefore they certainly don't know where they need to be. So make sure you're calling them and telling them, and both mum and dad, because remember these days most marriages, unfortunately, mum and dad are separated, so make sure that both parents are there if they can be there and they both know what's about to happen. Let them know that they need to bring a witness. Witnesses are very, very important. Of course, this leads to an added fuel of new prospects that are in the room. Mum and dad need to be there if, of course, it is possible. Call everyone, even the students that you haven't heard from a while. Let them come to graduation. The regeneration letters have gone out by now. Some of them may be on the verge of making a decision to come back or not, and coming to a graduation and seeing everyone they once knew graduate or still involved in the group and create a reconnection with those people might be all they need to start them back training.